Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey there, RWBY fans! Welcome to another edition of the AFTERBUZZ Recap Show. This week, we are covering the World of Remnant 3 and Chapter 11, No Breaks. How are y'all doing tonight?
The F train has no brakes!
And now I'm doing this all night. And now I'm doing this all night.
None whatsoever. Okay, guys, we have so much to talk about tonight, and I am so excited because we have an awesome show in store for you today. Joining us on the panel today, Mark Donica.
It's wonderful to be here.
Yay! Katie Cullen.
Salutations!
We've got Stephen Lemieux in the booth.
Booth guy, what's up, guys?
Hey,
Hashtag guy.
Sadly, Patrick Dees could not be here with us today. He will be here next week for the live show. I'm your host, Megan Salinas. Joining us, guys, we have Team RWBY here on call with us tonight. Lindsay, Barbara, Arryn, Kara, how are you all tonight?
We're good. We're awesome. How are you guys doing?
Really happy.
Yeah, so fantastic. I am so excited. Guys, how do you feel about this episode? Because, we've got the season finale next week, and the stakes for RWBY have never been higher. What is it like watching it all to come together and to, build to this big old crescendo?
Absolutely crazy. I mean, the scenes tonight, the fight scenes, the choreography was way more than I think any of us could have imagined, but It turned out amazing.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see. I mean, I'm sure you guys can relate too, but whenever we go into the booth, we do the lines. It's a totally different experience when we finally get to see it on not only just the exports that are here, because we can watch them whenever we like on our servers, but watching the audience reaction to it is fantastic. And it's definitely been well received tonight, which is great.
Yeah.
I only have one comment after tonight's episode, and that's screw you, Neo.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you take on someone who's been doing this a lot longer than you have.
I think, especially going on that note too, a lot of people have commented on how happy they are to see, kind of gauge Team RWBY and their experiences, and especially the fight with Neo was a big one, knowing that they do have weaknesses and they're not actually as capable as you think they are, because they've been kind of kicking ass and taking names for a while.
Just a little bit.
But there's definitely some more challenges ahead.
They're not invincible.
Right. I like that it showed that, we can be challenged and we can still rock it,
Well, and the other thing is we haven't seen one-on-one fights that weren't in a controlled setting in the school for quite a while. So every other time we've seen Team RWBY kicking ass and taking names, they've also been watching each other's backs. Splitting them up like this really showed where their weaknesses were.
True. I don't know. Blake seemed to do just fine.
Yeah, Blake was
Take some
single
more.
He's not a fighter.
I think Gray would disagree.
Elements and stuff. She had the opportunity to just use Weiss's stuff.
I think it kind of speaks to the teamwork in a way too.
I was going to say that. Yeah,
Weiss has her moment. Yeah, she's giving.
Don't chose our battles, if you will. It's like, I got this one, you take the next one. We all knew as a team of what our strengths were and weaknesses were, and of course, it's like, all right, I got this guy, you take the next one. And we're all like, all right, we got that.
Got the mental connection down now.
We all choose our own battles in life.
It's hard to imagine where Blake would have ended up if she didn't heed the advice and just kept pushing forward. We got to see the result of the teamwork and the coming together of her actually being able to handle this fight.
It could have been horrific.
Yeah.
Ended well at
It
all.
wouldn't have been as good of an episode.
It would have been a little bit of a downer.
Can you take this one? I'm tired.
Blake's dead now. Can we get a replacement?
And God, what a morbid episode.
RWBY.
Well,
Sorry.
for all our listeners out there, we are taking questions via Twitter via the hashtag RWBYABTV. Yes, I can do
Alphabet
it.
soup.
I can do that. Or you can tweet. Just send any questions to our Twitter. We're also watching the live chat on AfterBuzzTV.com. So feel free to submit your questions for Team RWBY because, oh my gosh, we have Team RWBY
Yeah, we have
here.
them all.
And Tumblr, I got you covered.
So,
Awesome.
As
speaking of
always.
Twitter questions,
Have to us, okay?
Yeah.
Seriously, we're excited. Thank you.
we do have a question from Black Rose Shooter 01. We got to see Zwei in action tonight. In the most remarkable stop what you're doing and pay attention way.
The fastball special.
So very good. So aside from Zwei, if each individual member of Team RWBY could have their own pet, what kind of pet do you think they would have?
A dragon.
Did those exist in Remnant?
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So far, no.
Her last name means a little dragon, so I think it would be appropriate.
Yeah, the fire element, obviously.
I would like a white unicorn.
Ooh.
That'd be
Totally
sweet.
fit. Totally fit.
Exactly.
I think Blake would have to have a black panther. Like a big cat.
That's my favorite animal.
And yet,
from
the
Aladdin.
corgi is the most combat ready.
Or,
I know Black Panther, but
who is it?
Bagheera.
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 I love Bagheera.
what would Ruby have?
I don't know. Sure, he has a dog. I don't know.
that's true.
Yeah. What's up, Pabu? What's up, Pabu?
Yes!
They know.
He's a fire ferret.
He's adorable.
Purple and perky.
How do you not know about this?
I know.
Lindsay?
What's a Pabu?
Like,
And now we have Siri on the line.
So in Avatar, they have combined animals, and Pabu is a red panda and a ferret mixed together.
Oh,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to send me a plushie of that, I would happily
I'm
They
keeping
exist.
mind, thank you.
They exist.
Yeah.
That does sound adorable.
I got that in a naga.
That, or I
Yeah.
could see Ruby with like a hidden like closet full of kittens.
and she just like lets bathe in her.
that's my life. It's just opening up a door and there's all these kittens. I'm like, all right, goodbye.
the gif of the corgis just like rounding a corner on the.
Yes. The corgi army, yes.
That is adorable.
Yeah.
We
Ruby's
speak
so with the
Tumblr.
corgi, I'm good.
Yeah.
So low. It's too precious.
Well, we've had a lot of character development in the last couple episodes. I know you guys were talking about it, during the last show and everything like that. I was wondering, with all the character development that we've seen over the course of this season, how is that going to be changing your guys' performances as you approach these characters? Or has nothing changed?
That's a good question.
I just think since we've matured as voice actresses, even though it's been such a short time as our characters have matured, so just that being said, I think that kind of makes it a bit easier for us to go in knowing that we have, a more mature character, and we've, been doing that, so we've grown with the characters.
I think it's also a lot more easy to voice act after you get who your character really is, based on like their personality and stuff. Like, I know how to play Yang a lot better now that I know more about her, and it just, I don't know, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting. I mean, I'm sure you guys can relate too, but even the first couple episodes of RWBY in season 1, I listen to them now. I'm like, God, that sounds
I know.
nothing.
Yeah,
It sounds
weird.
nothing like RWBY. What am I doing?
I want to take it all back.
I know. Like, can we do a redo?
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's kind of us finding our characters as well and finding our skills as voice actresses, but at the same time discovering what the characters are going through and their emotions. I mean, just in volume 2, I feel like for RWBY, she's growing and understanding what it's like to be a team leader and working with her team and understanding what it's like to, not necessarily have everything under control, and that you do have to have a plan when you're going into battle and working with those kind of dynamics. So it's fun. I think it's exciting to grow with the character and be like, all right, so we started here as RWBY, but now we're kind of here as RWBY, and now I'm excited to see where she's going to go.
Yeah. Blake
All
can
right.
finally be more vocally dynamic.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yes.
And we didn't see Wise smile, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have feelings.
That was the cutest part when she's like, "It's gonna live with us forever."
That was actually a line that was pretty hard. I had to practice a lot on that because, Weiss has never been really overly happy or had that baby talk. So I'm like, how does, that sarcastic, snarky girl suddenly become, oh, blah, blah, blah. But it was a lot of fun.
Because
I feel like Weiss is the
corgis,
person
that's
that
why.
close the door. She's like,
Yeah. She's totally just like singing in the mirror with her hairbrush.
Oh, yeah,
No one knows.
California girls.
Well, she certainly likes to jump on chairs, but
Yes, the chair scene was amazing. Somewhat in the same vein, we have a question from Tumblr user Donovan Drago. How much would you say your characters have changed between what was presented to you when you got the role and how they're being presented now? Basically, concept versus execution.
Usually.
I think mine's exactly the way they described it to me. I was just honestly waiting. Like a lot of Volume 1, Yang is kind of just there. She doesn't really have a lot of development. But now Volume 2, we're actually getting to learn more about her. And I think this is where it comes out that Miles and Carrie described Yang to me. And it's like, oh, I get it. This is her character. And so, yeah, I don't know.
I think we can all probably agree on that, you know, factor and, you know, that statement, and that we also were learning our characters in the beginning. And now, you know, we've been told, you know, your character's been through this, blah, blah, blah. But now through the second season, we're able to see it, you know, come out a lot more. So I think the audience, you know, really likes that as well. And it's a lot, you know, it's fun for us to do, because it's like, oh, the connections, you know, the ball starts rolling in your head and you're able to be like, that's what that is. All right, cool.
So I think Blake's actually changed a lot, because when they described her to me, she was still like that meek, really quiet, mysterious to herself character, but now she's considerably more open than I had expected her to be, because she does trust her team members.
Kind of same with Ruby. I mean, when she was first proposed to me, she was supposed to be younger already, but she was definitely more, I guess, for lack of a better term, a badass. So she was definitely more, had a harder edge to her. She was still younger, but she wasn't afraid to, you know, take names and fight. And then as the character developed, it was discovered that people, especially Monty, was very insistent that she's very socially awkward, and that was brought in. And I was like, oh, I can do that. Yeah.
I wonder where he got that information from.
Subtle.
Well, we also, tonight we're also talking about the World of Remnant short that you guys released last week, where we find out, we find out a little bit more about the Grimm and just kind of the creepiness. Like, I've never seen the Grimm look as creepy as they have in that short, where they don't really need to eat. Like, they choose to hunt people, and just the way that they attack people.
And they disintegrate after they're killed, and no one really knows where they came from, but they've been around since humanity can remember. Let's face it, they're Titans.
They sound a lot like Titans. It's kind of creepy.
They're basically the Titans from Attack on Titan, just, and for the most part, a little shorter. And we use walls to keep them out.
Funny enough, there's already so much fan art. There's one particular that I really like, where it's Ruby looking up at a Titan, or actually it's a Grimm, actually, funny enough, but it's in the shape of a Titan, and she has the 3D maneuver gear. Like, all right, let's do this.
Yes. We actually had a question about what everyone's favorite fan art was, so hey, there you go.
There you go.
Already answered.
Yeah, you guys are good.
Ahead of the game.
You guys are really good at this game.
Seriously, Grimm are scary, though.
They are. It's very creepy. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm just 100% too spooky for me. It just gives them a little bit more of giving them their background in, especially like you said, the choosing to eat. I want to know more. It answered some questions, but presented more.
And it was kind of brilliant setup in the same way that the last World of Remnant was a really good setup for the way that Dust is utilized and with Cinder. And the way that she fights with Dust. And that I thought was a really good setup, because where we leave this episode, you know, the Grimm are invading this town. And we know, you know, based on that short, that when Grimm get into a town, like, things just kind of spiral out of control from there.
Kill all, kill fast.
Because negative emotions will attract more.
Nom nom nom.
Yeah.
Essentially. But this means we get a giant, everyone involved fight scene next week.
Much to our chagrin.
What?
Huh?
Chagrin.
Oh, I missed
Connection
that
error.
completely.
It's over your head.
I misheard you. Nothing goes over my head. I would catch it. My reflexes are too fast.
Yeah, ladies, we're going to go ahead and apologize. Sometimes the audio cuts in and out, so we apologize.
No problem. I love the PSAs, though, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because I have seen many people messaging us specifically, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize when I saw Cinder's attack earlier, her semblance, that it was actually part of her clothing. I'm like, yeah, funny enough, you've been watching it this whole time, and you've seen it, but you never knew until we released this PSA kind of explaining, you know, the World of Remnant and all the elements in between. But, yeah.
It's a nice reference to have. Did you just turn us up? I think we're getting feedback.
That's okay.
Okay.
But what are you... Oh. Now you guys are rocking back and forth. Or is Arryn just dancing? I'm not quite sure.
Don't love dance.
Aww. For those of you listening to the podcast, you're missing a dance party.
And the creepiest staring I've seen in a while.
But it is interesting, so...
Happy Halloween.
I still don't know what I'm going to do.
Well,
Dress up as Blake.
Speaking of dressing up as things, do you guys plan on cosplaying soon with some of the new outfits that we've seen this season?
I want to so bad.
We all really like our alternative outfits.
We love them.
It's true. There was actually discussion about us cosplaying in the alternative outfits this past RTX, but people hadn't seen the episodes yet, and I feel like it kind of
wouldn't have made as much. It wouldn't have made as much sense.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Plus, we've never, worn our actual combat gear as
Which we
cosplay.
did this year.
Yeah, we
It
did.
was so much fun.
Shout out to Anna Hollum for doing those costumes.
Yes, thank you
Did a
so
great
much.
job.
Yeah, you guys
That's
look
pretty exciting.
amazing.
Yeah, she made those all within like 2 months.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
4 of them. Yeah, it was crazy.
Holy cow.
It was so excited. It looks so much more comfortable.
Maybe August 7th to 9th, you'll see the new costumes.
Maybe I'll be there.
RTX plug.
Maybe I'll be there.
Maybe we'll all be there.
I would like to be there. That'd be great.
Got it.
Cheap plug, not AFTERBUZZ
Wink.
exclusive.
289 days, was it?
288 as of
Now.
today.
Yeah. The struggle is real.
She's got a little day calendar just pulling the days off.
My hair to grow.
So, with all the action that goes down in this particular episode, do you guys have a particular favorite scene, either from this episode or just from the season as a whole so far?
We actually showed half of chapter 11 at New York Comic Con last week.
Mm-hmm.
And the part where Zwei gets shot out, and the audience was just going crazy. So that definitely sticks out for me.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I was actually talking to them before we started the interview today that people have been tweeting me specifically saying Ruby's reaction in that moment when Oobleck smacks her dog across the train. She's just like, yeah, go for it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you smack my dog. Yes. All right.
I did like seeing Oobleck fight really for the first time tonight in this episode. He really got at it, and I loved seeing he and Ruby. Learn that as well too. But I loved how he kind of had that on his back burner of, I'm not going to show the girls what I'm capable of yet until they really need me.
Just like Joel in real life.
Right?
And then he pulls out his boomstick.
Yeah, and
There's no other term for this.
That goes into the...
It's listen up. This is my boomstick,
and then fire and the goodness gracious great balls of fire in the form of a little puppy.
and the fastball special. Oh my god.
We do have a question from Twitter. Seelan _snipe on Twitter wants to know. Since Oobleck's weapon appears to be some sort of flamethrower, and that usually those involve alcohol, is that really coffee in his thermos?
Hey, it's Irish coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
According to last season's commentary, it's hot chocolate.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know this. We don't know the drinks that this is not something that has been discussed with
We
us.
do know who the drinkers are in the Ruby group now, though, I think.
Yeah.
I think husband's got hot chocolate, and that's what Miles wants it to be really bad.
That's right.
I think it's motor oil, straight motor oil.
Is he
That
Lopez?
man is a machine.
Is he Lopez?
It's actually a car. Surprise.
With how fast he goes, that wouldn't surprise me.
Wait, does that make him Ultra Magnus?
No, it would make him a motor mouth.
Oh, it would make him blur.
Air 5, Barbara. Air
Wi-Fi.
5.
Wi-Fi.
Across the network.
Wi-Fi. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm falling behind.
That's all right. We're here.
But it with the setup, I mean, the White Fang have kind of an ingenious setup in this particular episode because they have a line of trains set to detonate to create, holes within this cavern that leads straight to this city to bring the Grimm all, basically for this big citywide invasion. And that's kind of terrifying because we've seen we haven't really gotten a sense of we know they're up to something big, but we haven't really gotten a sense of the full plan. And this is the first time that we actually see their plan full in motion. And when we realize kind of how wide scale that is, it raises the stakes higher than we've ever seen it in this show.
On top of that, they've already made it difficult for the average person to obtain dust. And most people use it for combat. So you've already crippled their fighting forces by taking away their ammunition and, oh, by the way, unprecedented grim attack in a city this size. Have fun. Boy, it's a good thing Ironwood brought that army with him. It's almost like he's in on it.
Oh.
That's just speculation there.
You watch your tone.
Nor deny.
Yeah, it's
Any
true.
speculation.
But
I didn't
you're
just go
absolutely
there,
on the right
I
track
lived
with
there.
the civilians. They are not equipped to
Yeah.
handle this situation.
No.
And currently Team Ruby is the only one at the scene of
Right.
the crime. So
Dude, did you see how scared model number 5 was?
Yeah.
It was funny. Well, like we had learned in the World of Remnant 3, you know, Grimm's drawn to, you know, basically fear and panic. So when everyone in the town goes crazy, obviously they're going to follow them. And Ruby's like, we're just going to lay here for a second and let them go.
Yo, I'm recovering.
We're not scared, so they didn't come for us.
She's
which I
rebuilding
thought
her
was
mana.
awesome. Yeah.
We exploded.
She's pulled.
I need a minute.
Anybody have a potion?
additional pylons.
Grim Rush.
Yes. That command is not available at this time. It's going to be fun. I'm waiting for Sun and Neptune to show up in the city center and be like, dang it, everything's exploding
This is
already.
our one chance.
Yeah, noodles.
It's funny too because I don't know if you guys saw in the previous episode too, when they're about to embark on their journey, they specifically mentioned Sun and Neptune are like, every time we're near you,
Yeah.
stuff blows up. We're not gonna
Oh,
do
yeah.
that.
We're just going to stay away from that for now.
Yeah, so we brought the explosions to you, Sun and
Yeah.
Neptune. There
Happy
you go.
birthday!
Be useful this time.
Yeah, boys, don't just ditch the girls.
I maintain that Neptune is useless. He has yet to prove himself, and I'm still waiting. This is your chance, bro.
You can do it. Show us what you got.
Yes.
But when we have this issue with the trains, obviously, and we mentioned it before, everybody gets separated. Let's go ahead and talk. Yeah, Neo versus Yang.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That is the best stink
Maybe
face.
we shouldn't talk about it.
Barbara's
Should we
angry.
skip this talk? Should we skip this discussion?
Okay, let's do this.
There was a very, very important question that was posed on Twitter from Josh Volton. Is there a reason Yang didn't use her semblance against Neo?
Yeah. You'd think she would have hit her limit break.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the fight, she never really gets hit until the very end.
It's true. For the most part, Neo's like toying with her, which is
Mhm.
I mean, we spoke about that earlier, how exciting it is to see Ruby come up against these challenges. Team Ruby, I should elaborate. But I mean, specifically with the fight in Neo, I mean, she's never hits Yang really. She's just kind of dodging and dancing with her, and honestly playing with her. I think she could.
Cheeky.
Yeah,
She
I
knew.
feel like she could beat Yang at any point, but she's like, "Now I'll have some fun."
Yeah, she played defense
Exactly.
basically the whole time. Yeah.
Well, and even
I feel like
Ruby.
she came- I feel like she came straight out of Street Fighter. Or something.
right?
That's all I could think of is she's mute, she's smiling, her technique is flawless, and normal people can't
You
pull
know
off
what
those
was
flips.
really
She's a fighting
creepy?
game character.
Her eyes kept changing colors.
Did they switch?
They switched, and then at one point they both turned pink. At one point they like both turned brown. Like they kept switching. It was the
Interesting.
creepiest thing.
Good observation.
Very good
Yeah,
observation.
Well, it
She
was
had an eye out for that one.
boo. No,
Hey,
No, that was a team-wide.
I win.
no,
We're
boo.
not doing points this time.
Anyway, but yeah, it's. I know. We had. I know that a couple weeks ago we were talking about. I think you mentioned, Katie, that the Cheshire Cat was a theory that was being bounced around.
It was, and evidently she's not the Cheshire Cat.
Well, with the eyes, I'm really thinking that maybe she is.
Wasn't it Gray that told us she wasn't?
Yeah, I think that we got official confirmation that she wasn't, but now
Someone
I don't
else
know who to
is.
think because I keep looking at that with the eyes and I'm like, that's so Cheshire Cat.
I will say, not necessarily the Cheshire Cat vein, but it's specifically in Ruby, if you notice, people's eye color do tend to change, and there's always a reasoning behind that. And usually, if you pay close enough attention, you can kind of see why. But I'll leave it at that.
And
Yes,
again,
she's ice cream. Yes. Also,
eyes cream.
The famous fairy tale character ice cream.
Eyes cream.
Well, I'm the ice queen, so maybe I'll be able to.
Hey.
Switch opponents.
And swap.
Maybe that would be good, yeah. But it is interesting because, you guys mentioned that, it's weird seeing that they're not indestructible. And even Ruby at the beginning of this episode was deprived of her sniper rifle. And we see that even though she's strong enough to lift that scythe, she's not necessarily strong enough to throw a hard enough punch.
And she bobbed and weaved.
I'm sorry, but I did laugh when Ruby ran and tried to punch Torchwick and he just quit. I was like, good effort, Ruby.
You tried.
If she'd bothered to bob and weave, she would have gotten away. He wouldn't have been able to aim. But no, straight line. Good job, everyone.
Just like the thing with the snakes, you gotta run a diagonal.
Yeah, you have to zigzag.
Zigzag.
Well, that's the aura of Ruby too. If you think about it too, she's just so like gung ho. She's like, yeah, we can do it. It's like, do you want to stop and think about what you're about to do?
I do love that she pulled his hat over his eyes, though. That was wonderfully cartoony. Ain't I a stinker?
It was adorable.
I do love the Torchwick Ruby dynamic.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're the OTP.
It's like the hate OTP.
Yeah. I have seen a couple people that are like, I ship that. I'm like, Ruby's
no TP.
Ruby's 15. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty messed up.
It isn't TP.
Yeah.
It is a no TP. It's like,
Yeah, I can't get behind that one. But anyway, before we move on with the rest of the episode, I want to talk to you guys really quick about two things, actually. First and foremost, we mentioned fan art a little bit ago. Guys, it's really, really cool. For the first time, we here on the RWBY panel got fan art.
and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
They drew fan art of us
As a RWBY team.
It
That's so cool.
is Twitter user 24-hour call center.
Still best name ever.
Also Tumblr user The Many Faces of Truth. Same person. They drew fan art of all of us, came up with weapons for all of us, came up with symbols, came up with a team name, came up with the reasoning behind the team name, came up with reasons behind the color coding and the symbols, and they went all out. It was amazing.
Essentially canon is what we're trying to say. We're essentially canon.
Yes.
It was the most heartwarming. It totally was the best thing, like, this entire month for me. Like, it was getting fan art.
And
My
when I say
superpower
us,
gets to be just like the Zordon.
Steven,
just
your
being in the booth.
superpower is reality bending, and that weapon is how you fine tune it.
What's our team name? Is what they're asking.
Oh, I think
was Psychedel.
Psychedel, that's
Like
right.
psychedelic.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it was really cool. So thank you so much, 24-hour call center. We really appreciate it. We can't tell you how much it really means to us to get that.
They gave me a sword.
That was really sweet.
Understood my love of. Well, they understood my love of cute dresses, cats, and dispensing stabbity death. Great. Perfect.
So, haven't we hung out yet?
Yeah. Fifth member or
We do have a have a 5-member team
Yeah, we got
because we
Booth
have
Guy
the
in
4
there.
of us and Booth Guy Steve.
There you go.
Booth Guy Steve.
Steve
Booth
is
Guy
an integral
Steve.
part.
yes.
Yeah.
He's the most important part, Steve.
Steve.
Thank you.
Don't tell him that. It's going to go to his head.
He is the Zordon of our
Right
group.
to the
He's-
head.
He's already filling up the booth already.
Here, I'll even turn my camera back on, guys.
There he is.
Oh man.
Damn it! Oh my god!
I know it's just terrible.
Lemieux?
Steven, is that you? Steven.
It's me.
The booth guy.
How are you enjoying the booth?
And then there's the chat roll who can see a shout out of themselves.
Hey!
Yay! Thank you so much. And guys, we also want to give a shout out to everybody who goes to comment on iTunes. Guys, thank you so much for all the ratings and comments that we get on iTunes. The people at AfterBuzz put on 80 hours of content a week, which means the people behind the scenes work about 90 hours a week to bring you that content for free. So it really means the world to us when you go to iTunes and you rate and leave a comment and let us know what you think. And yeah.
Okay, Steve.
What Booth Guy said.
Booth Guy drinks about as much coffee as Dr. Oobleck.
If that is
Put it that
Almost.
way.
If that is coffee.
I'm not gonna say almost.
It may be alcohol.
It's not coffee.
But anyway, let's go ahead and get back to the episode. So the fight with Neo actually gets broken up by a mysterious new challenger.
Mama Yang.
A new challenger approaches.
Exactly, new challenger appears.
Well, we know that Mama Yang is alive, and we think it's implied that Mama Rose is no longer still around. Color scheme says Mama Rose.
And fashion sense
says Mama
Yang.
Rose. The smart thing is they didn't give her a voice yet, so we don't see a name in the credits. I think
That's because you don't know who it is yet.
I know.
For that.
That was a very smart thing to do.
We have a lot of people on Twitter asking us, who is the lady in red?
Who was that mysterious figure?
You've been receiving many a tweet, I'm sure, and I guess a Tumblr post. I don't know what you call it. Yeah, a post. Yes.
Yeah.
About asking the same thing, like, who's this woman? And obviously we can't really. If it is a woman.
Oh.
Guys, I think it's the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody ever expects the Spanish Inquisition. But it was really like just the character design for one kind of blew me away because she's wearing a mask that looks like a grim skull, like a grim crow. And then the swords that she has, she's got like tons of different blades, and she's able to open up portals with her sword.
It's Uncle Crow. We're gonna have the same who is that mysterious figure culture on Tumblr that we had for who is Control for Red versus Blue. Everyone's gonna have theories, and none of them will make sense.
Yeah, she's Control.
You're Control.
Aaron's Control.
You were
She's
the
voice of
voice
Control.
modulator. You were the voice modulator for Control. Yes.
AFTERBUZZ exclusive.
Big deal.
There's Control.
She's Control.
She's right there. I don't see what everybody was so curious about. She's right there.
And all the people who aren't Red versus Blue fans are like, what are you talking
They're
about?
a little lost on that one.
That's okay. Parallelism.
It's true. Who for you guys? I think the four of us, I was saying, we've already had people tweeting and messaging us about like, oh, who is this person? But like, I don't know. I guess if we could throw it out there, who would you like it to be?
There we go. Yeah.
To us? Throwing it to us.
I wanted to be Blake's eccentric aunt that was never allowed to meet because she just didn't conform.
What if she's a human ant?
Oh!
With a W, I would like to confirm.
I want it to be Adam back from the moon.
I want it to be, remember the DJ from the Yellow trailer?
Yes.
Be him and drag. Come back for revenge.
How do we know that the
She's
DJ wasn't a lady in a suit?
It's true. We're progressive.
Yeah.
Ladies can be DJs if they want to be.
They can also wear
black.
suits.
Saying.
Yeah.
Again.
Lindsay Lohan's ex-girlfriend.
Oh. There we go.
The more you know.
I feel like we need that little star across the screen now.
I learned something today.
Knowing is half the battle.
I learned a lot of things today.
But for the next fight, we have essentially Weiss versus a chainsaw.
Jason. It's Weiss versus Jason.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's the perfect way of putting it. So
Right.
It's intense. I
I
mean,
hey, if you're going to compare a chainsaw to anything, a sword can almost do just as much as a chainsaw, right? If you have the right. I loved how her semblance and all the glyphs when she is fighting and bounces off all of them. It's like a pinball machine. That's what that reminded me of.
She's a wizard. It has to be a trick.
I'm a little sad that Chainsaw Wielder wasn't a lady voiced by Griffin Ramsey. Not gonna lie.
Nice pull.
That would have been really cool.
Although who did the voice for that?
Gray.
That was Gray?
I'm pretty sure that was Gray.
Okay, because he
Was it?
yeah, Griffin would just go like, whew, and we'd fall over.
Yeah.
I think Weiss would just be like, all right, I'm out.
Goodbye.
Can we trade, please?
Well, speaking of crazy,
Like, you take this one, I'll go to the next one.
Yeah, I'll go beat up Roman, and you take Chainsaw.
Speaking of crazy weapons, though, we have another question on Twitter from @NotKristen13. She wants to know which weapon would from the Ruby verse would you want the most?
Which weapon would we want the most?
Yep.
Yeah, we had a Tumblr
Whether it's
question
yours or
that's the
another.
same. Insane and Loving It on Tumblr asked the same thing.
Nice. Cinders is really cool, but I have been thinking lately, especially because I've been watching this one music video from a band that I like, where this dude just like smashes stuff with a hammer. I want Nora's hammer. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I can go around and be like, sup, boom, and just like smash open a wall. That'd be great.
I'm all about that.
Oh yeah.
Could I choose the breadsticks from the first episode?
Yes, you can.
Turkey fist.
Hashtag turkey fists. We're bringing it back.
Yeah, cook it and stuff.
Slowly with carbs.
I've been killing myself with carbs for 25 years. Okay.
Is butter a carb?
I'll be biased. I'll say that I'm happy with my weapon, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind trading with Ruby every once in a while for
Nice.
a side.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
should have an episode of that. Be like, oh,
Yeah,
crap.
straight up. Let's do it.
We're all different weapons. What do we do?
Afterbuzz
I
exclusive.
want Weiss to wear Yang's gauntlets because they would probably like weigh her on.
Yeah. I can't lift these up. How do you do this?
A while ago, there was actually fan art of that. And by a while, I mean like a year ago. So if anyone can find that, please tag me.
How
It's
funny
pretty
would
awesome.
it be if somebody who's not used to those gauntlets tried to fire off the gun and then was just shot back by the recoil?
That's probably what Weiss would do. Weiss would just be like, it'd be like a rocket launcher for her. She'd fall backwards and be like,
It's like this big.
I think I've seen the fan art that you guys were talking about, though. I've seen fan arts where people will change up like our color schemes. Like I've seen Weiss with Ruby's color scheme. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're really awesome.
But there's one where it's a weapon swap.
The weapon swap.
Yes.
That's really awesome.
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
So if anybody's
beautiful.
listening, send them to us. Tweet them at us. We'd love to
Well,
see
let's
it.
see some new ones.
Yeah, that too.
The Ruby team as like teacup pigs.
Well, that's a special request. Do it,
Not
guys.
teacup one. I just want to be like a regular fat.
Killer hog.
You want to be a razorback.
The chat roll is wondering if you guys would improv a scene in character with all four of you.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's a request.
Not to put you on the spot, geez.
I don't know.
Spot me.
What was the question?
Improv
If we can
with all four of us in
improv
character.
As pigs?
I'm just
I can do.
I mean, the one that I could remember is the sleepover. Or,
Well, they mean like
Oh.
improv, like a new one.
Oh, improv, a new one.
Barbara and I did
Here's
one.
your prompts.
I think
There's
we
a
did.
cat
I think
that
we
just
should
walked
too.
in the
Yeah,
room.
we could do
Can you do
it.
it? I could do that.
Want to talk about
What's
the
the scenario?
You're trying to get through security at an airport.
Oh
How about
god.
that?
With the weapons.
I will take care of this. Don't you guys worry.
No, this thing is huge. It's never gonna make it through.
Do you guys know who I am?
Guys, these things don't come off my wrist. They're actually surgically attached.
Okay, any other complaints before we go through?
No.
Okay.
So, Mr. TSA, do you know who I am? Do you know my family?
That's not going to help you get through security, ma'am.
I don't think this is going to work on security.
Is this the loudest carry-on?
No. Does it fit in the bin?
Guys, I have to vomit. Where's the bags?
You know what? We can't handle this anymore. This is just too much. Let's just we'll take the bus.
Best trip ever!
End scene. Thank you.
Now, why wouldn't you just fly a private? Don't you have a private jet?
yeah.
Sorry.
Sometimes I always feel bad when someone's like, say something is blank, and I'm like,
Sure.
And I like how Yang was puking before she even got onto the plane. Wonderful.
Private schnee jet.
Yes.
Well,
It's called the snowflake.
Because it's special.
the snow angel.
Oh.
But actually, I was.
What did you say?
Wait, what?
We
That's
missed
fine.
that one.
fly.
Good.
Because it flies. Well, we know that you guys.
Our carry on.
Oh, we got her on the thing.
Lindsay, are you okay over there?
That'd actually be perfect if you were in like a little cat carrier.
Right.
Oh.
Right next to you, and you're like, I would be miserable.
She's fine around people. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Well,
Ask the flight attendant to bring her milk.
after that wonderful scene, it makes me wonder. Like, I know you guys have to typically record individually, but do you guys get chances to do? Do you guys get to do table reads together?
Not really. We got a chance right before we started recording for Ruby and before they started animating. We all were together in the same room. But other than that, we actually unfortunately don't get the chance to do table reads.
Aw.
We've been talking about expanding our current recording booth, which only fits one person right now. But ideally, we'd like to at least have two people at a time because a lot of the scenes that we have are us bouncing off each other. There's a lot of Ruby and Weiss scenes, alternatively Blake and Yang as well. But that's in the future, we're hoping. Yes.
It does come in handy having, either Miles or Carrie, because they're in the booth, recording us so they can hear what we say. And they also feed us the dialogue of the other characters. And as the other characters, I'm sorry, in the tone that they would use. So we're able to kind of bounce off of that, knowing that that's the tone the other character will be speaking in.
So what's the best impersonation Miles does?
Weiss. It's true. Yeah. It's amazing. It's like you guys have seen Miles before. Obviously, he's been on the show, but I mean, watching him, we have a nice little mirror in our booth, or a mirror, I guess, a window, so we can see the person who's recording us. So Miles is sitting there recording us, and he's like, "How dare you say that to me?" What?
You got to feel the character. You got to embody them.
I'm like, all right, I feel it. Yeah, I'm ready.
For me, well, since I never get to hear Weiss being portrayed by Miles, I'd have to say I love Miles as Ruby. It is so funny because he tries to talk in that little kid girl voice, and it's just like, hey, so I don't know what you wanted to do, but I'm like, oh my gosh.
So obviously we need to have him improvise a scene in character as everyone.
I don't know what his Blake sounds like. It's just really monotone.
Yeah, his Blake is like, so.
Okay, fine.
Did you really want to do that?
That sounds so unexciting.
But what it's gonna do? Yes, I'm Blake.
That's so weird. I never really thought about that. How we don't hear how the other people portray us.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about before on a couple of other interviews, and we were actually talking about it earlier today, like specifically with the four of us, we talk about what lines we think of the other characters saying that is that character. Like for Blake, I always think of like, why are you aiding this scum?
Lines.
That's a good one.
Well, all the time, but like,
Well, speaking of Blake, let's go ahead and talk about her fight with Torchwick, because I don't know about you guys, but her kicking him in the face and knocking him out was one of the most satisfying things I've seen in this series so far.
I thought she broke his neck. I had this moment of, Torchwick died that day. Oh no, he's going to be fine. He's too charismatic.
I really, really, really love the whole death stuff that she's finally able to use, or that she starts to use, or that she does use. That's
that Weiss is like, you might need this.
Yeah, it's super cool how she just uses it.
Yeah, somehow figures it out. And
Good job.
In combination with her senses.
They're not shadow clones anymore. They're elemental clones at this point.
I'm glad you're familiar with the shadow clone jutsu, though. That's good.
And she even uses that in it as well. Like, she uses each one to her advantage. There's one that's kind of like a smoke screen that she
explodes.
Just trying to. Yeah. It's been a long day. With like the freezing of the arm, and then whenever
Very Sub-Zero.
And it's just like wash, and then
using them to her advantage.
We've seen that ice used a lot this season too, or even in the first season when we got the Raven, Nevermore. There we go. I always call it the Raven. I always will, but I mean Nevermore.
Well, going off of that too, Monty specifically did talk to me before Ruby even started. He said specifically for her sniper rifle, she uses different ammo to do different things, and we've seen that with Weiss with her semblances and her glyphs, and you see her, I guess, like the chamber in her her rapier will rotate and go to whatever dust she wants to use. But same thing with Ruby. And I know there's in episode 8 of volume 1, whenever she's fighting the Nevermore, you can actually hear it. There's a couple of recoils where it's not actually like a full blast, and that's her using a different cartridge. So I was like, I wonder if Weiss is ever going to hand over her stuff to Ruby. Some sweet elemental attacks going on.
Well, it's selfish. One step at a time. Hey, I gave it to Blake, or Weiss gave it to Blake.
Baby steps.
We always do that too. We'll say I. We always use I when we mean our characters, or we'll say, oh, I did that to you when we mean like Weiss did that to Yang. So,
do you just go home to Miles and be like, I totally beat the hell out of you today? Arryn, are you going to go home? Not to Miles. Wow, I mixed up my voice actors. My apologies. Do you go up to Gray and be like, yeah, I beat the hell out of you today?
She's like, I'm processing what you just said to me.
Because Blake pretty much destroyed Torchwick this episode. Yes.
Yeah. Super satisfying to watch. It was great.
It's very much a I'm not like you moment.
Like Wash and Locust.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very similar.
Yes.
Fallen Nation.
I wonder who writes both of these.
Yeah, I know, right?
Never heard of it.
So, has anyone freaked out about, oh my god, the dog is dead yet?
No.
I think
good.
no. Super dog. People.
There's
people
no way we'd
be
kill
safe.
the dog. Oh, absolutely. I would hurt someone.
If Y doesn't make it to the end of the show, we're monsters.
I would like puff some hair.
Oh no! Are there just out of curiosity, are there any plans on turning Joy into a plushie? Because I feel like that would sell.
Maybe.
I
AfterBuzz
want
exclusive.
one.
Yes.
There might be some stuff that's been worked on that's involving Y. There you go.
Is it a body pillow?
Yes.
Yeah, no, just a giant like neck pillow.
Biggest
It's got, like-
corgi.
We'll cut into it just like all the other body pillows.
Oh God. No.
Oh, God.
Why?
Why did you bring that up?
That's so sad.
No, why?
PG.
Like,
And we're
Family show.
explicit on
Good night, everybody.
iTunes. It took that long.
Oh my gosh.
No, fingerprints.
Oh, we're still.
No.
Nice. I got that.
Nice reference. But just since we were talking about voice acting a little bit earlier, are there any character interactions that haven't happened yet that you would like to happen in the show?
Ooh, I like that question.
That is a good question.
I'm waiting for some love interest for Yang.
I think they'd all be too scared of her.
I don't know who would be a good match for her, but
Pyrrha. They are on each other's levels.
She couldn't handle Yang.
I don't know if Yang could handle her.
jealous.
Everybody aims for Pyrrha.
You don't know her like I do.
She's a partner in life.
Well, there's partner and then there's partner, and all of Tumblr's like, do they ship it?
That's like, it's interesting, especially with Ruby. I mean, people obviously bring up like White Rose and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like Ruby specifically, I like that her character has no romantic interest and none. She's like, I'm on my own. I'm
You're
on my
not
own
old
journey.
enough to date yet, okay?
Exactly. Yeah. Shut up, Mom.
Let's wait for your book.
That was my wife's voice.
I never really talk about ships outside of like pushing the whole Bumblebee thing because they just a lot of them don't make sense to me. I think people just get excited about characters and they don't truly take the character's character into consideration. Like Ruby just sounds like she would be happy for the rest of her life with her dog and her sniper rifle. She ain't need no man.
Yeah.
She'd be a crazy corgi lady.
Oh,
That's
well.
how I feel about ships. I get asked that question a lot. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay, you do what you want to do, but it just wouldn't make sense to me in a lot of them.
Yeah, I think
Different
going off
strokes.
that too, the weirdest thing is when people specifically, I've had people message us where they're like, you should make this canon. I'm like, okay, listen.
Let me
like,
do that
yeah,
for you.
Like, one, we do not have any control of that, so you should not be
None
messaging us.
whatsoever.
Two, I'm like, you know, we're happy that people are so involved and want to see these relationships happen, and we all do it. I mean, you know, Harry and Hermione should have been together.
Voldemort ships that. Voldemort ships Harry.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Voldemort shipped Harry and Hermione. That's not okay.
It's always interesting when people specifically say, like, you should make this a part of the show. I'm like, all right, you know, again, you're free to enjoy how you like, but it is not something that you can just say, I'd like this to happen, so it should. It's like, well, that doesn't really make sense.
And I mean, why do they need to get together? They're,
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
they're still learning themselves.
Right. Well, back to
All right, I take back my comment.
Well, no, I was going to say, like,
can't have it.
just as far as interaction goes with our characters, like who we haven't really interacted with, you know, one-on-one yet. To answer that question, personally, I'm going to answer as Weiss. I would love to have a nice little word with Mr. Torchwick.
Yeah. That would be great.
The fabulousness would destroy the room.
I think I legit want Blake at one point to be alone in the room with Zwei. And just have a straight up conversation like, yo, dude,
No, he would chase you.
this
I don't-
ain't working for
Yo,
me.
dog.
I don't appreciate that thing when we
If we're
first
gonna
met.
make this work, we're gonna have to lay down some rules.
Dogs rule, cats rule.
Wow, that was a blast from the past.
Very good.
That's what I want. I mean, they've interacted, but I want like a true true interaction.
I want like flashback of Ruby talking to her mom, but that's just me. Sentimental on you.
Well, maybe we'll get that in the future, depending on who that mysterious figure is.
Also, how many seasons do we have?
8,
Supposedly,
9?
there you go.
9, yeah.
There's plenty of time.
Infinity.
And beyond.
Well, so, sadly, we're running short on time. We're down to our last couple minutes here. Do we have any other questions from Tumblr or the chat that we want to go ahead and throw out there?
Yeah, we have a question. Sorry, Out of Rice and Zextrin both asked a similar question. Yeah, Zextrin. She loves you guys. She's wonderful. Do you have any plans after season 2 is over? Are you going to be on more Rooster Teeth productions? Do you have other things going on? I know Achievement Hunter just did a 12-hour day last week, which congratulations on surviving that one. Can't wait to hear the videos. But what else do you guys have on tap?
I mean, there's always stuff going on at Rooster Teeth. Everything's changing every day. This weekend alone, we have a 24-hour live stream coming up for Extra Life. Laser Team just started production, which is our first movie. X-Ray and Vav starts in November. We have another miniseries starting in November.
We just finished writing X-Ray and Vav season 1. It is done, everyone.
Yes. So it's starting in November.
AFTERBUZZ exclusive.
Well.
Do we have a date for X-Ray and Vav yet?
A theme?
A date.
A date.
November.
Yes.
Okay.
So far, no, we do not have a determined date, but keep posted.
Yes.
Trust
we will.
In the next couple weeks, you will know. I promise.
Awesome. Thank you.
So there's always stuff going on, clearly. Yep. We're staying busy.
My follow-up question to that is, do you ladies sleep?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
What is sleep?
I know Red Bull and coffee.
Shut
What's the
down.
sleep you speak of?
I had 2 Red Bulls today because I didn't think the first Red Bull worked. That was a mistake.
Erin had a second Red Bull right
remember
after
those
another
tweets.
interview we did today. She was fun.
No, we do get a chance to rest. We're not, by all means, I'm sure there are many people out there who work way harder than we do. But we I don't know, it's exciting. We love doing what we do. So
It's fun to wake up in the morning, you know?
People ask us, they're like, oh, do you
dead?
Yeah. Yes, we're alive.
Thank you, one other day.
People do ask, they're like, oh, how isn't it stressful to go in and do what you guys do? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm there for sometimes I'll be at work for 20 hours straight. And I'm like, I'm liking it. So
if it's something you enjoy, then it's never about losing sleep.
Exactly. If it's something you enjoy, then it's not work.
I don't know. I still don't like waking up.
I'm with you.
Well,
I got a question from chat roll.
Okay.
From Lilith Archer says, will this end in a cliffhanger, and has Volume 3 been greenlit for you guys?
Volume 3 has been greenlit. This will end with some questions answered and some questions left to be answered.
And some answered questions.
And some answered questions.
It's like Lost.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like the finale of Lost.
No.
So we're going to have Polar Grim, Smoke
Every
Grim.
finale's going to have an answered questions and questions answered,
it wouldn't be a fun finale without a cliffhanger of some sort.
Yeah.
Let's just say you will be very excited for Volume 3 upon finishing Volume 2.
We already are.
Yeah. I can't believe we're down to the last week already. It went by way too quick.
Speaking of which, I'm going to plug this now. We're doing a live event next week for the finale at the Alamo Draft House. We're doing it here in Austin at the South Lamar Draft House. Tickets are sold out here, but there's still some available, I believe, in Houston and Littleton, Colorado. But it's going to be the entire Volume 2, followed by a live Q&A with us, Miles, Carrie, and Monty. And that's also live streamed on our site. And that's going to be next Thursday starting at 5 p.m. Central Time.
If there were an Alamo in LA, I'd be there like white on rice. But there's not.
Will it be a sponsor exclusive, or will they be available to everybody?
Everybody.
Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think that just about wraps it up for this week. Do we have any other questions that we want to pose real quick?
Everybody on Twitter is just thanking you for all of the work that you do on season 2.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching.
Of course.
Oh, no.
We're enjoying this a lot.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, this was the best. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this season before we go?
Show. We said it a lot, but we really wouldn't be making the show if it weren't for the fact that you all were watching. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts.
We love
Thank you to the fans. We love you.
Yeah.
And we're excited because now we can do season 3 because you've been watching it and you like it. So keep watching, please.
Yay! Season 3. All right, ladies, where can people go if they want to find out more about you and about the work that you do?
Social media.
Roosterteeth.com is a great one. That's where we host all of our all of RWBY, including YouTube as well. Of Rooster Teeth, our YouTube channel. Personally, I am Lindsay Jones on Twitter. But there you go.
I am at @Dunkelman on Twitter, and then of course on the Rooster Teeth site, roosterteeth.com/Barbara.
I am at Arryn Zech on Twitter.
And I am at Kara4TX on Twitter, and you can also find me on the Rooster Teeth site, roosterteeth.com/Kara.
Yeah, and if you'd like to watch RWBY, also it's on Crunchyroll if you prefer that.
Yay. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us tonight. It was an absolute pleasure having you on the phone in the studio today.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us.
We had a lot of fun.
Yay,
So did
please.
we. Thank you.
If you guys are in LA, please come back. We would love to actually have you here in the studio.
Yes,
A little bit more
please
in
let
depth.
us know.
Then we could actually see you for once.
Yeah.
Great.
Totally missing out on our character costume.
What do you mean? You can see me. Yeah, I'm right here, guys.
iTunes is in the dark.
Steve, he means the other pretty faces.
Yeah, well, I got a few.
I know, they're all out here at the
Frightening.
table.
True that. All right, we'll see you guys
There's one
later.
in the booth.
All right,
Yes, you
guys.
are. You're one of them.
Well,
You a
Mark,
pretty face, Mark.
Where can the people find you if they want to find out more?
I have a pretty face, it's canon. You can find me on Twitter at SoapboxMark, and you can find me on YouTube at SoapboxCarTV, and on the Rooster Teeth site, I'm SoapboxMark there as well.
Katie.
You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and the Rooster Teeth site at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I'm also on a whole bunch of shows here, including Arrow and Z Nation.
Steven.
Oh, you actually threw. Oh, hey. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, STPHENLEMIEUX, or as the booth guy every week. Guys, tune in for the finale next week because I think we're going to have some cool stuff lined up for you.
Yeah, we
It's gonna be awesome. And you can follow Patrick on P to the D's on Twitter. He will be joining us next week.
Yes, he will. We'll
Fingers
have a full
crossed,
team.
we will have our full team here next week. I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. Don't forget to go to iTunes, rate 5 stars, I hope. Leave a comment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.